Evening and welcome to Tuesday's Encounters in New York. This program is presented every Tuesday at 7 p.m. New York time. My name is Mark Beecher and I'll be your host tonight. Our very special guest tonight is Carlos Vivas. Carlos is a speaker and author of the book Help from Heaven. So welcome, Carlos, and tell us a little bit about your background and your journey to writing this book.
Hello, Mark. Good evening. Thank you for the invitation to your program. I'm really happy to be here. And yes, a little bit about me is I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a quality assurance manager and dispatch manager for a service company. And I wrote the book Help from Heaven, Miracles Happen When You Believe, after I have a near-death experience in 2015 that changed my life, the course of my life. Like I never thought this could be happening to me, but it happened, like, wow. So yeah, it's a big story.
And at what point was the near-death experience in reference to 2024?
Yeah, the near-death experience happened in 2015. It was on Memorial Day 2015. I'm going to start with the story. So one of my best friends called me and asked me what I'm going to do for Memorial Day. And I said, you know what? I don't have anything planned. And he said, well, my family's coming from out of town. Do you want to come with us? I said, sure. So we traveled to Panama City in Florida. And when we arrived to the beach, it was packed with people. We arrived to another one. It was packed. Third one was packed. And I said to my friend, you know what? Let's go to a place that I know this is not going to be this crowd. So it's called Chill Island. You need to go to a marina, you get a boat, and the boat take you there, and you stay all day there. So we go to the first marina, and it was closed for renovations. I was like, this is weird. It's a holiday, supposed to be open. Go to second marina, closed. Third marina, closed. When we arrived to the third marina, I said, guys, I don't know what to tell you. Let's Google a place. So I Googled on my phone, and we found a park. It's called San Andrew State Park. And when we find this park, we drove there and we paid for the ticket. It was the first time that I was going to this park, marina. And when we're entering, one of my friends, we were like 7, and one of my friends, he said, Carlos, before you have to get a shuttle bus that's going to take you to the marina. You have to park your car in a parking lot and then pay the ticket, and then from there, shuttle bus that take you to the marina. So one of my friends is like, Carlos, I'm going to the bathroom quick because he have a surgery, and he just want to avoid anything in the island. So he went to the bathroom. Me and his family, we start boarding the shuttle, and 5-10 minutes passed, he didn't show up. And then I asked his dad, like, hey, could you go to the bathroom and see what's going on? And when he goes to the bathroom, he found out that my friend Jorge was trapped in the bathroom. Somebody put a lock on the door. So we have to get the janitor and take it out. So this happened, and I tell people, like, red flags, like if you start seeing a lot of red flags during your day, if you have to go to somewhere, it's better if you cancel or suspend it. It's a lot of stuff start happening to you. So we go into the shuttle bus. The shuttle bus take you to the marina, and we're like 25, 30 people. We get in a huge boat, and this boat take us to the island. It was a sunny day, blue skies. The water was beautiful, like super blue, and it was amazing. So we started the trip from the National Park San Andrew to the islands, Chill Island. It's like 25 minutes. And when we arrived to the island, it was full with families because it was a holiday, right? And then my friends like, Carlos, look here too, is full. I said, like, you know what? Let's go to the back. Let's jump here from the boat and start walking to the back of the island. So we start walking to the back of the island. I was coming first, walking first. My friends were behind me. And when we're half away, there is a guy with 5 kids, and he started yelling at me. He's like, hey, sir, where do you think you're going? I said, I'm going to the other side. I said, well, it's dangerous because this side is more protected, but the other side is open ocean. I said, like, sir, I've been coming here for years and nothing happened. Don't worry about it. We're going to be fine. Okay, well, take care. Be careful. That's fine. So we continue going. We arrived to the backside of the island. There was nobody there. And we open a canopy and we put chairs, we put food, drinks, and we stay there from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. When we arrive at when we stay there until 4 p.m., my friend said, Carlos, the island closed around 5:30. We want to walk around before the islands close. I said, yeah, okay, you guys can go. You have 45 minutes to come back here. I'm going to be here by myself, but you can go. I take care of everything. So they left. I was by myself. It was getting really hot. 5-10 minutes after they left, I said, you know what? It's really hot. I'm just going to jump into the water. I'm not afraid to swim because when I was a kid, I used to be on a swimming team. So I jumped into the water. I didn't see anything wrong with the water. Everything was good, was calm. So I jump, I start swimming, swimming, swimming. And after 5 minutes, I started feeling holes on the ground, like on the sand. I said, like, this is weird. I never step on holes under the water. And then I start feeling that something was pulling me back, and I didn't know what it was. And out of the sudden, this start getting like really intense. And I get a little bit scared. But out of the sudden, this whirlpool under the water came and sucked me all the way in and throw me far, far away. It was a riptide current. I never knew what a riptide was until that moment. Never heard it in my life. Never see anything about riptide, so I didn't know what was happening to me. And I make a big mistake. When a riptide grab you, you're supposed to swim perpendicular to the wave, right? And I didn't do that. I start fighting against the current because I was afraid, I was scared. And when I was fighting, I was losing energy of my body. And after 20 minutes fighting and fighting and fighting, this current took me almost, I don't know, half a mile away from the island. So when I was looking back, I was like, how in the world I get here? Like the island was like this. And I was like, what? So I start swimming and swimming and swimming. But every time that I was pulling my head out of the water, the island was farther and farther and farther. I was like, what? So after 25, 30 minutes, I started getting exhausted, really tired. And I didn't see any way to go back because every time that I was trying to swim, the current was taking me into the ocean. So after all this, I said, you know what, God, I think this is it for me. I think this is a perfect scenario to die today. I mean, it's almost the time for the park to close, and nobody's watching me that I'm here, and I'm completely exhausted. I cannot do this anymore. So before I go, I just want to say thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you for my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters. Thank you for everything you gave me, and I'm sorry if I did something wrong. And in that moment, behind me, I heard a voice that said, ask for help. And I was looking back and I didn't see anyone. It was a soft voice. I was like, what? So I thought it was my imagination. So then I continued swimming, trying to swim back. And then I heard the voice for the second time. I told you to ask for help. Ask for help. And I was like, oh my God, where you at? Could you please help me? I'm dying here. Please help me. And I look everywhere, just the water and the wind. And then continue trying to swim back to the island. And for the third time, I heard the voice, I told you to ask for help. And I was like, oh my God, okay, okay, okay. I don't see any way that I'm going to get out of here, but it's fine. I'm going to try to swim back. I'm going to ask for help. So I started waving my hands, help, help. At the end of the island, one of my friends came out of the group because he had a feeling that something was wrong. And he started looking for me on the beach and he didn't see me. And he started looking everywhere. He didn't see me. So he went to the top of a hill, and from the hill, he saw me. So he started jumping, Carlos, Carlos, look at here. I'm going to call 911. I'm going to call 911. Hold on, hold on. He didn't call 911. He went back to the tent. He grabbed some tubings. He went back to the top of the hill and he threw the tubings from the top. But guess what? The wind was against him. So the tubings was going back to his face. So in that moment, he panicked. And he's like, oh my God, this is not working. This is not working. Hold on, Carlos, hold on. So he run down the hill. He go to the other side of the island. It wasn't too far. And he started calling everybody to come to help me. So a lot of people come. 6 guys gone to the top of the hill. They jump from the top of the hill and they start swimming my way. And when they're trying to get me, nobody could reach me. The ocean is still sucking me back and back. And for more than they are getting close to me, I'm getting farther and farther and farther. 10 minutes later, everybody started turning around and leaving me. And I was like, what they're doing? Oh my God. And then I heard a thunder, boom. And I look back and I see a lightning on the water. So a big thunderstorm was coming. And in that moment, I said, you know what, God? This is it for me. A thunderstorm is coming. There is no way that I'm going to get out of here. So from this moment, the only thing that I'm going to do, I'm just going to surrender. Whatever you want from this moment, just do it, you know? And in that moment, a huge wave came and crushed me all the way under the ocean. When I was under the ocean, I opened my eyes and I see far, far away a big shadow. And I see big black shadow was coming my way really fast. I was like, oh my God, what is this? Like I barely could see. I covered my eyes. I said, oh my God, this is a shark. So I just covered my eyes, just waiting for the bite. And then this thing came, grabbed me by my stomach and pushed me all the way up. And when I get up the water and I see this huge thing, guess what it was? It was a big dolphin, great dolphin. So I grabbed the dolphin by the tail. I start crying. I couldn't believe I'm touching a dolphin. I have interaction with a dolphin in my life, so I didn't know what to do. I just was holding because I didn't have more energy on my body. And he was in that moment, I start looking the dolphin in the eyes. He was looking at me, and I don't know if you have cats or dogs, and when you see an animal in their eyes, you can see their soul, you know? And their soul was telling me, like, don't worry, I'm here. Just hold on me. I came to save you, you know? That's what I thought in that moment. The dolphin was telling me with his eyes. His eyes were like compassion 100%. So I just grabbed the dolphin in the tail and started crying. I couldn't believe it. My friend called more people to rescue me. Everybody just turned around. Nobody could save me. But 10 minutes after I'm with the dolphin, a fisher boat come around me and he started yelling at me, hey, son, I can't save you, but I cannot get close to you because the wave from the thunderstorm, they're so big. I'm going to hit you with my boat. So I'm going to throw you a rope and you grab the rope and come to the boat. So I grab the rope. I start going to the boat. But when I get to the boat and the dolphin is still next to me, I just grab some air when I finally get to the boat and I'm with the rope. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And the guy started yelling, the boat was tall, and the guy started screaming at me, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I was like, sir, I'm being here for like 30, 45 minutes. I'm extremely tired. I'm exhausted. Please, could you help me? I said, like, no, 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 you need to hurry up and get in right now. I said, what are you talking about? Let me breathe. I said, we don't have time for that. I said, like, why? He said, because my boat is sinking. I said, your boat is sinking. What are you talking about? I said, yeah, I have a pump that take the water off, and all the way from the thunderstorm, I'm getting inside, and all my boat is getting floated because the pump doesn't work. So you need to go to the back of the boat. There are some steps in the water, jump in and sit down next to me. So I went to the back of the boat. I saw the steps. I climbed it. And when I see all the water was like this. And I said, oh my God, sir, do you have any bucket? I take the water out. And he said, we don't have time for that. Just sit down next to me because we need to get out of here. So I sit down next to him. He put a towel on me and said, are you okay? Are you fine? I said, yes, sir, I'm fine. He said, where is your family? I said, well, my family, my friends, they're all there. What happened to you? I said, I don't know. A whirlpool under the water grabbed me and throw me all the way here, and I couldn't go back. I was fighting so hard, but it was impossible. And he said, yeah, that's a riptide. It's very dangerous. And I don't know if you know, but Panama City Beach is named the most dangerous beach in America right now. It's a lot of people dying in that place for a long time. So he take me back. He's going around the island and he started asking me like, so are you okay? Are you really okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. And then he asked me, let me ask you a question. Where do you come from? I said, sir, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I said, you're from Atlanta, Georgia? Me too, I'm from Atlanta. I said, what part of Atlanta? I said, I'm from Duluth. I said, I'm from Norcross. Duluth and Norcross is next to each other. I was like, oh my God, we're neighbors. I said, like, yes, we're neighbors. That's incredible, right? And then he looked back and he see, oh my God, look behind you, look behind you. I said, well, what are you talking about? And when I looked behind me, the dolphin was jumping, following the boat. When we arrived to the base side of the island, the guy said, okay, son, I have to leave you right here. You can walk from here because the level of the water is very low on down, so you can walk, but I need to fix my boat. If you want to see me again, every Memorial Day, I'm going to come back to this place so you can see me. But God bless you. You're fine. Just walk there and wait for everybody to grab you. Say, okay, sir. So I give her a hug. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you for saving my life. And I jump off the boat and I start walking. Nobody was on that base side of the island because everybody went to the other side to rescue me, right? So when I'm walking, and in this moment, imagine, I mean, the water around me, and it was like the sunset. So the ocean was like purple with orange colors and everything. It was crazy. The thunderstorm already passed, and I started walking to the shore, and then something hit my leg. And when something hit my leg, I looked back, the dolphin was behind me. So in this moment, I see the dolphin. I was like, what in the world? Like, why this dolphin is following me? So I started crying. I said, like, oh my God, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for rescuing me with this dolphin, you know? So I go to the shore. And when I get to the shore, I go on my knees and I said, you know what, God? This is it for me. Today, this is it for me. After this incident, this is a miracle. And if you save my life with this dolphin, it's because you have a purpose for my life. I don't know what do you want from me, but I'm gonna tell you something. From today, Carlos died into the ocean. The person who's coming out of the water is gonna be you. You want to give a message, you want to give something to people, but use me, and through me, just do whatever you want. And from that moment, it started raining, thundering again, and I took that as a yes. The dolphin leave. Then my friends come from the other side of the island. The police arrive. Everybody start hugging me. My friends are crying around me. The management take me back to the island. They take me to management, and they ask me what happened. And I said, like, well, what happened? You didn't have a safeguards there. I mean, all these people tried to rescue me, but you need to be more careful. You know, you have more rescue people on a holiday. You know. And after that, my friend said, hey, what do you want to do now? I said, well, I just want to go to a church because this was a miracle. I need to say thank you to God. So, okay, let's go. So everybody that was around us from the beach, he said, can we go with you to the church? I said, yes, come on. So everybody went with us. And the first church next to the national park, the San Andreas State Park, was called Fatima. It was a Catholic church. So we parked our car in the parking lot. And when we're trying to enter, the door was locked. But outside, my friend said, don't worry, there is a chapel outside in the garden. So the garden was, the chapel was like a cave, and inside of the cave was Virgin Fatima, and it was full of candles. So my friend said, okay, let's do a circle right here in the garden with everybody that came from the beach from and us, and we're gonna pray. So we pray there for 20 minutes. After we pray, we give hug each other, thanks God. And after that, say, okay, let's go back to the hotel. So we go back to the hotel. I get something to eat, I took a shower, and I said to my friend, you know, I'm really tired. I need to go and sleep. So I go to my bedroom and I put my head on the pillow. And then in that moment, I have a vision, I have an epiphany. I never had this before, so I didn't know this what was happening. So in this vision, I'm on the third floor of a cruise in the Caribbean. I'm grabbing the handrails, they're wood handrails, and I look in front of me and I see huge ocean, blue skies, blue ocean, sunny day. And then at the end of the ocean, I see a huge tsunami rising coming my way. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. So I cover my face, just waiting for the tsunami impact the ship, right? And then I was just waiting. And then 5, 10 minutes later, nothing happens. Like, what's going on? And then somebody come behind me and say, hey, look at me. And I was like, no, 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 we're about to die. And he touched me in the back. I said, hey, look at me. I said, no, we're going to die. I said, you're never going to die with me. I said, who are you? Look at me. So when I looked back, I saw the image Jesus. I was like, oh my God. So I see this guy, but from his face, it was light coming everywhere. And he was with a white robe, but it was light all over him. I said, close your eyes. So I closed my eyes and he hugged me from behind. And it happened like, I don't know, 10 seconds. And then he said, open your eyes. So I opened my eyes. He opened his arms and he said, welcome. From this moment, I just welcome to heaven. And I look everyone's like, what? To heaven? This mean that I'm dead? I said, like, no, 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 no. You need to take me back, Jesus. Like, I cannot die right now. I have a lot to do. I said, well, you make a promise to me when you was a child, and you need to fulfill that promise. And I said, yeah, you're right. I told you that I'm gonna tell the whole world about you. And I never did because I was a kid. I said, yeah. So it's time. So look in front of you. And when I look in front of you, like millions of people show up in white robes. And he said, well, from today, you start walking with me and walking with all of them. From today, you're part of me and part of all of them. Do you have any questions? And I said, yes, 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 definitely. I have a question. Um, where all these people come from? I said, they're coming from all over the world. You have another question? I said, yes. Um, what is the true religion? I've been looking all my life. There is so many religions in the world. I said, well, the only thing that I can tell you is when you come to heaven, there is no religions in heaven. The only thing you're going to find in heaven is love. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. And that's where we're going to unite the whole humanity in one. Now he put his arms over me and he said, okay, let me give you a live review. So he opened his arms, do like this, and like screens from like a Macintosh computer. It looks like show up with all my life since I was a baby until right now. And all the times that the good moments, the bad moments, and every time that I was helping somebody, he was showing me how that was a ripple in the life of that person and how that person, because I helped him, was helping other people. And when I was yelling to somebody, he showed me, now I'm gonna put you in his side, so you're gonna feel the pain that you caused to that person. So be careful when you come back. Every time that you speak with somebody, words are powerful and they can damage a person. So you have to be careful with that, okay? And you need to tell people, say, yeah. So after I see my life review completely, he said, okay, it's time for you to go back and tell everybody what you saw here. So, okay. So he touched my back. Next morning I wake up, I was like, wow, what a dream. That's what I thought. I tell this story to everybody that was coming with me. We travel on Sunday to Atlanta. Next morning, I go to work. I've been working in my office for 20 years. When I get to my office, I tell 3 managers that were in my office, guys, guess what happened this weekend? I went to the beach and a riptide grabbed me when I jumped into the ocean to swim, and the riptide throw me like half a mile away, and this dolphin saved me. I said, like, yeah, right. Every manager was like, yeah, right, Carlos. And then behind me, I heard somebody saying, I believe you. And I look back, it was my boss, and say, why do you believe me and they don't believe me? And say, like, I'm Christian, they're atheists. Number two, I want you to go to your computer and Google how many people die in the United States by riptides. And when I Google, more than 100 people die every year in the United States by riptides. Then he said, now Google how many people have been saved by dolphins through history. I said, like, what? I never heard that. So Google it. So I Google it. A lot of people has been saved by dolphins all over the world. I didn't know that. Then he said, now Google how many dolphins get killed every year around the world. And when I Googled that, 100,000 dolphins get killed every year, and they still saving people. And then he said, now the last one, Google, what is the meaning of the dolphin for Christians? And when I Googled that, he said, the dolphin represent Jesus. And I was like, what? This is crazy. I was like, yep. So after this, that happened on Monday. On Wednesday, my boss called me to his office and said, like, Carlos, I need you to go to this customer. As a quality assurance manager, I need you to go. Something happened in this house. I said, yeah, okay, I go. I go to this customer house. It's a 1970 house. The lady was in the kitchen cooking some pasta. And when I knock on the door, she come, hey, Carlos, I was waiting for you. Come on. Hey, I'm cooking right now, but could you do me a favor? Go to the basement, go to the hallway, all into the last room, turn the light, and you're gonna see a gold lamp on the side that is broken. Could you fix it or buy me a new one? I said, sure. Let me go down. So I go down the stairs. I start turning the lights on the basement. And when I get to the last room that I turn the light, to my big surprise, I see the gold lamp on the corner. But guess what? In front of me was exactly the same vision that I have on my epiphany. It was heaven with thousands of people dressed in white robes, Jesus in the middle, and Jesus was touching like the ocean. And in this painting, dolphins were around Jesus. And I was like, what? So this was very overwhelming for me. So I started crying, like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, oh my God. So the customer come downstairs, like, are you okay? What happened? So like, ma'am, where do you get this painting? I said, she said, well, 3 years ago, a friend of my family came here and with a big canvas and gave this painting to us. And but I'm gonna turn the light and you can see the whole picture. So she turned the light. It was a gift for her family. And the painting was huge, it was a whole wall, like half of the whole wall. And then I said, okay, well, amazing. So that happened on Wednesday. On Thursday, I called one of my best friends and I tell the story, what happened to me. And I said, Carlos, you need to go to church and you need to tell the story. That's a testimony. People need to hear about it. And I was like, are you crazy? Do you think I'm going to be telling this story on a church? You know how many haters, how many people is going to say this is a lie? Like, I don't want to tell this to people, you know? I said, like, Carlos, believe me, you need to tell this message. This is the time that people need to know that this is happening. Anyways, he was with me. I didn't want to do it, but he was over an hour with me on the phone. I was like, okay, I go on Sunday and we go to church. Guess what? Sunday arrived. I go to his house. When we arrive to his house, we get breakfast. And he said, okay, what church you want to go? I said, like, it doesn't matter because Jesus told me it's not about religion, it's about love. So any church that we found on the way. So, okay. So the first church that we went was a Catholic church called St. Michael the Archangel in Woodstock, Georgia. So when we arrived there, it was hundreds of cars in the parking lot. There was music, there was balloons everywhere. We didn't know what was happening. And we parked next to a lady and I asked her, excuse me, man, what's going on? What is all this today? I said, well, this used to be a little church, but today we're inaugurating a big cathedral. So you guys came on time for the inauguration. You want to see everything? I said, sure. So come on. So we follow her. We see the inauguration. My friends told me, Carlos, speak with the priest and tell him that you have a testimony. Maybe he let you tell the story. I said, okay, cool. So I went to the priest and he said, okay, after the service end, you can go and tell your story. I said, okay, cool. When the service finally end, I go to the stage, they give me a microphone. So I start presenting myself, hey, my name is Carlos. I have a testimony to tell you, everybody here. And I start telling my story. When I'm half of the way in my story, a 17 years old girl raised her hand. She's skinny, white girl, black blonde hair until her wrist. And she says, sir, I have a question for you. I'm sorry to interrupt your story. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I need to ask you this. I said, sure, what's going on? How was Jesus with you? Well, in my epiphany, he was behind me. While he was dressing, a white robe. What he was doing, he was hugging me from behind. Why? And she said, I have to show you something. I said, well, what are you talking about? And I never see this girl in my life, you know. And then she grabbed the long hair, put it in front of her, and turned around. And when she turned around in the bag, she had this painting. And she said, it was like this. And I said, yep, is Jesus hugging a guy. It's called Forgiveness by Thomas Blackshare. So I was like, what? Wow. And she said, yeah, it was like that. Yeah, yep, it was exactly like that. And after the church, everybody started, oh my God, you guys planned this, you guys know each other. I was like, no, this is the first time. I don't live in this area. I drove 1 hour from Duluth to Woodstock to come to this church. And I just telling my story. I mean, I don't know. It's just a coincidence, I guess. Anyways, the service end. I said goodbye to my friends. I drove all the way back to my home an hour. And when I get into my house, I get into the computer and I Google Jesus hugging a guy. Because I need to know what is this painting meaning, What is the meaning of this painting? And guess what? I found out that it was a very famous painter called Thomas Blacher. And when I Google, he said that he started doing fasting for 2 weeks because he was asking God to let him paint how God is going to help humanity. And then for 2 weeks, he was just drinking water and praying, drinking water and praying. And then he started doing the painting. When he was half away on the painting, he heard the Holy Spirit saying, Thomas, is a beautiful painting, but now you need to write a book. And this book, you have to put every aspect of this painting so people can understand the meaning of this painting. I said, okay. So he finished the painting, he wrote a book, and the book is called Forgiveness by Thomas Blacher. Now, here is where my story ends. When I was with Jesus in heaven, and before he pushed his hands on my back and sent me back home. He said, Carlos, I need you to tell a message to people in the world. I said, yes, what is it? I said, okay, people need to forgive. I said, forgive? I said, yes. In order to continue living on earth, they need to forgive. They need to forgive 3 people. Number one, they need to forgive their parents. Why? It doesn't matter if they abuse you, if they didn't like you, if they hit you, and all the bad they did to you, they did the best they could to give you the best you have. Number two, you need to forgive your inner child. Why? Because whatever happened in your childhood is not your fault. You was a victim right there. You was a kid. You was afraid. You was scared. You didn't know what to do. You didn't know that something worse could happen. So you need to forgive that inner child because it wasn't his fault. And number three, you need to forgive all the people that came to your life to harm you. Why? When you forgive your parents, your inner child, and the people that came to your life to harm you, you're not forgiving them. You're forgiving yourself. In that moment, it's like you open your heart and you throw away all the hate, all the resentment, and all the poisons that have been eating you for years inside of yourself. And when you throw away all that hate and all that poison, it's like you have a balloon with a string and you cut the balloon and let the balloon go. You're free. And when you're free, is when Jesus told me in that moment is when you start living your purpose. What is your purpose? Like everybody on this earth came with a purpose. And people is asking all the time, what is my purpose in life? Very easy. Everybody have a talent. Some people cook amazing, some people sing amazing, some people, I mean, there's so many things that every person talents have. It's the best thing that you can do that nobody else do like you. If you don't want to do that purpose, he said the second purpose is called service. Why service? Because when you die, you're not taking anything with you. You're not taking your house, you're not taking your titles, you're not taking your money, you're not taking your Bitcoin, you're not taking anything. The only thing that you're going to take with you is how many people you help on this world. That's the only thing that you're going to take with you. You're going to leave a blueprint of what you did for others. Look, Mother Teresa of Calcutta, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Princess Diana, Martin Luther King, what they did was service, and their service continued until today. So I'm just asking you, what are you doing today to leave a legacy and a blueprint on this earth? So one day when your turn come to go to heaven, and they ask you, Jesus asks you, it was worth it to go to earth, what you did for others. And in that moment, you're going to feel completely full that you help more people around you. You help coworkers, family, homeless on the street, and it's gonna be beautiful. And that's basically my story. Thank you, Mark, and thank you everybody for listening to my story.
Now that's quite a story. And when uh how long after the event did you write the book? Help from
Well,
Heaven.
it took me 5 years, almost 5 years. I'm gonna tell you why. I was really scared to tell this story because I said, like, people don't want to believe me, like what I'm doing with this story, you know. But people was calling me to my house all the times from churches for spiritual retreats to tell my story, and everybody was asking me, could you please write a book? And for 5 years I heard the same story, and I shared the story in so many places that I went. And I said, you know what, it's been 5 years that I've been telling my story in all these places, the people is calling me all the times. I think I will write the book. So I didn't know how to write a book. I was really scared. And I pray and I say, God, you know what? I'm not a writer. I never done this before. But if you put something or a publisher in front of me, I gladly will do this book, you know? And guess what? 2 weeks after I pray, a friend of mine invited me to a meeting, a men's circle. And in this men's circle, after he finished, the guy that who was the host, he said, I want to ask you a question to all the men that are right here. Who wants to write a book about your life? And everybody's like, eh. But the guy who invited me, he knew about my story. He grabbed my hand like, hey, Carlos, Carlos. I'm like, no, 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 no. I said, why? I said, I don't have the money. I don't know how much. I guess that's super expensive and it's going to be a lot for me. And at the end, the guy started talking to me. No, Carlos, you need to leave a legacy. Let's do this and blah, blah, blah. And he talked to me. I said, you know what? Okay, show me what it is. And he showed me what's a program at University of Washington, in Washington, D.C., Georgetown University. And it was a year. And I said, okay, I take it. So I took a year on this university to write the book. And I have like 4 editors from all over the world. It was people helping. This was during the pandemic. So nobody could get out nowhere. So I was on my computer all the times with editors in Italy, in Poland, in England, here in the States. So it was a really good collaboration. And every day I have to write, send my chapters to my editors. They review it, send it back to me. The book was like this big, but look, this is the book right. Oh, let me see. You cannot see it right here, but yeah, there we go. Help
Okay.
from Heaven. But you know what? It's like half of what it was because the editor said, like, yeah, it's a lot of story, but we need to condense that. So we're going to the point in every story. So we have 17 chapters, and I talk about I have on other miracles. I mean, this was one of the biggest one, but I have another miracles. I was cured of leukemia when I was a kid, and that's what I did. The promise to God: if you cure me of leukemia, terminal leukemia, I promise I'm gonna tell the whole world that you're real. And guess what? 3 months later, the leukemia disappeared. But I never say anything to nobody because I was a kid. But now this is the moment that I'm sharing the story, and this is the moment that everybody needed because you know how planet Earth is right now, how everything is heated right now, and it's crazy all over the world, and people need to get this hope and hear this story. This is not just happening to me. The first time that this happened, and that was another, I have to process what happened to me, and it took me like a year and a half. I didn't know where to ask or who to ask, so I went to churches to ask, like, what's going on when people have an accident and they feel like they die and come back, and the priest like, we don't want to talk about that, you know. And then I start googling, like, there is somebody else like me, like maybe this happened to somebody else, and then I found out this is a huge community and from all over the world. And then I found out 1 in every 10 Americans have a near-death experience. And I've been to a party that is 100 people, and I say with a microphone, who in this room has had a near-death experience? Raise your hand. And 5 or 10 people raise their hand. Have you ever say something to your family or friends? No. All these people is afraid too, because it's an amazing stories, you know, like Some people have out of body experience. Mine was an spiritual awakening, and a way that I meet Jesus to transmit this message of forgiveness that everybody needs right now and hope. So yeah, it took me 5 years to finally finish the book during the pandemic. Yeah.
Okay. Um, is that the service that
Well, no, no,
think
no, no. The
God was
service.
telling you to do? Was
Well,
the service?
the service. There is my book right here. Let me see. Back. The
Yeah.
service is. I help an organization here and in New York too. It's called Food for Lives, and we go every Saturday and Sundays to the biggest square here in Atlanta. We go to Woodrow Park. Woodrow Park. I don't know what is the square in New York, but we have, and it's almost all over the U.S. But we go and we collect food from a lot of volunteers, and we put tables like a buffet style, and everybody from their house they bring like big, huge plates of rice. And we do everything vegetarian. So we serve every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, food to the homeless. On Christmas time, we bring jackets, we bring sweatshirts, we bring socks, gloves, that they need all that for the cold weather. But yeah, we spend every Saturday and Sunday with the homeless on Food for Lives.
When when you met Jesus, I guess, then you assume you were basically in heaven. Was there any other idea or concept that you remember from being in an atmosphere of heaven?
Well, it was I was scared at the beginning because I didn't want to die. But when I saw heaven, imagine a huge golf course. The grass was just fresh cut, so you can smell the grass. When people show up in front of me, everybody was glowing. So it was a very calming experience. Behind them, there was like infinity clouds. Um, it was beautiful. I mean, it was beautiful. The colors. I mean, even on the grass, there were flowers of colors that I never saw before in my life. So that calmed me down a lot. So it was a beautiful experience in heaven, with Jesus.
Now, are you doing a lot of speaking engagements now with the book
I've
and
been doing, believe it or not, the first time that I didn't want to go to YouTube and do all this, but it was a promise that I did to God. And there was a lady that one day called me. Her name is Peggy. And she's like, I have a page on Facebook. It's called Beyond Near Death Experience. I create this page on Facebook so people that have experience like mine, they can share the story there. I said, I'm going to create, but I couldn't find nowhere to share my story. So I create this page on Facebook, this group. And this lady contacted me, Peggy, and said, Carlos, can I interview you so you can tell your story? Like, no, 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 I don't want to go to YouTube. Please, please, please. No, 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 no. You know how many haters are going to be there? Like, no, 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 I don't want to deal. I have enough with my life. I said, no, it's going to be quick. It's going to be. I said, okay, let's do it. And it was my birthday that day. So we did the recording on my birthday. And as soon as we finished the interview, she posted immediately. She didn't do an edition or anything. And as soon as she posted, it went viral. So when it went viral, I started receiving calls from all over the world. People that want to interview me. I was like, oh my God, I didn't want this. But I guess it's God working, through me. I mean, I have to, say what I'm gonna say. That's tell the world that God is real and He's there for you. It's just a step away, so you never are alone. And another thing that I want to tell you is, like a year prior, I wrote my book one day, and this is one of my stories. Around 2 a.m. in the morning, it was raining outside. It was 2 a.m. in the morning. I was sleeping, and I heard a thunder, like huge thunder. And everything around my house turned like blue from outside and from inside too. So I didn't know what was going on. And I just jumped from the bed in the dark, and I heard this voice saying, like, I want the name of your book called be called Help from Heaven. I was like, what? I thought somebody just break in my house, you know? So I was like, who's there? Who's there? So I jump off the bed. I start turning the lights on. I don't see anybody. And I say, Help from Heaven. Like, what? So I go on my computer. I turn my computer on and I Google, and you can do it on your computer and you see what's going to show up. Help from Heaven. Just do that. Just put Help from Heaven. And the first thing that's going to come out is a video by a singer from the UK that he wrote. The song is called Help from Heaven. Mark Riemann, his name. And I said, wow, there is a video about Help from Heaven. So when I play the video, guess what? He almost start telling my story in the ocean on the video. So I started like crying, like, this is crazy. Like, what in the world? And yeah, he said, when you're going to the ocean, to deep waters, and you're drowning, God grabbed your hand and save you because you need to be renovated and all this. Listen, the song is called Help from Heaven from Matt Riemann. So after that, I knew what the title of my book is going to be. And another crazy thing happened when I did the contract with the publisher. They said, we're gonna do the book cover, we're gonna do everything. You have the editors, everything is included. Okay, I said, cool. But one day I go to my barber and I was telling everything about my book. And I said, like, do you have a book cover? It's like, well, yeah, that's gonna be the publisher. I said, like, no. I'm just asking you because there is another barber here that he just wrote a book and he have an amazing book cover. So really, let me see. So he called the barber, he come and I see the book cover. Wow, this is beautiful. Where do you get this from? And the guy said, well, there is a pastor that he's a graphic designer in Dominican Republic. And do you want me to give you the contact? I said, sure. So I finally, like a week later, I called this pastor that's a graphic designer, and the pastor said, Carlos, you're gonna have to tell me the whole story so I can put the whole story in one picture. And 3 days later, he called me, and this is what he get. Oh, let me put it again. Oh, yeah, it's hard to
Yeah.
Help from Heaven. You see, so my
Heaven, yeah.
hand is the bottom that is submerging,
Right.
and yeah, and it was amazing. So yeah,
And,
that's my story
and,
with the book.
and Help from Heaven is available on Amazon.
Yes, it's available
It's
on Amazon. It's an audiobook. It's in English. It's in Spanish. It's a bestseller in Spanish. And what else I got? It's in Kindle. And yeah, there is a lot of videos of me. There is a documentary. There is a movie director in France that he contacted me and he said, like, wow, I just heard your story on YouTube. I want to go to Atlanta and do this documentary about your story. And I was like, what, me? Like, this was too much for me, you know? Like, I'm just a regular person working 9 to 5. Like, and I was like, okay. He planned everything to come to Atlanta, but the day that he comes to do the documentary, I'm extremely sick. I'm have fever, I'm coughing, and I'm about to tell him, like, I'm not good for this documentary. I'm really bad right now. But he show up with so many production uh trucks and stuff that he spent a lot of money on all that. I said, Carlos, believe me, I'm gonna do an edition on this and nobody's gonna know that you're dying. So, are you sure? Okay, I'll do it. So yes, and I did the thing, and you never imagine that nothing was happening to me in that moment. So that's the magic of production. But yeah, it's been a ride for me, just to tell this story, you know. And that's what I just want to give hope to people and tell the people to forgive their past and to live the present and to know that it's a higher power out there and we have free will. And if you don't open your mouth and said, God, I need your help with my finances, with my health, with my family, with my best friend, with my husband, with my wife, with my kids. If we don't open our mouth, help is not coming. We have angels around us. I mean, I have so many stories that, but I just let you know that is God is real, Jesus is real, and just need to pray and just
right,
ask, like the
right.
Bible said, ask and you will receive.
ask, and then the message is service, service
Yes,
to
service,
humanity.
100%. Yes.
Um,
Yes. In my book, I wrote too about suicides prevention, because I have people that is calling me before committing suicide. And I asked them, like, why do you call me? Why do you call your mom and your dad? And they say, well, the first name that came to my head was Carlos. And it's like, okay. So because I have 3 or 4 people calling me, thanks God I didn't save them. It was God, He used me to say the exact words for them to stop what they were doing. But then after that experience, I said, I need to write something on my book. So I create 5 steps that you can tell them when you're talking with somebody that think that there is nothing else to do in this life, so they can continue living here, with us, and everything's gonna be fine. They just need to ask for help. Like my book say, help from heaven. If you don't ask, you will not have. So
um, does this change your daily routine, the way you approach each
well,
day?
yes. After my experience, I saw the world completely different. Why? Because I knew that our time is limited. So I'm not wasting any more time watching TV. So I eliminate the TVs in my house. There are TVs, but it's just is somebody come and visit me and they can watch Netflix or whatever. But I don't watch anything on TV. And after my accident, I started like 3 years going to waterfalls. I was chasing waterfalls for 3 years and just contemplating the water, contemplating the trees, contemplating the nature, uh, the sunsets, the rise of the sun in the morning. And God is in front of us everywhere. But we are so busy that we don't take the time to sit down, breathe, and take it. So for these 3 years, that's what I did. And it changed me because now I appreciate more the time with my family, with my friend. I don't take anybody for granted. And I just give the best from myself to everybody else, to the homeless, to my organization, Food for Lives, in my job. Everywhere I go, I just try to help people the best as I can. Yes.
Jesus said religion is not important,
No, he didn't
essentially,
say that. He said, when you come
it's
to heaven, the only thing
spiritual.
you're gonna find yes,
Spiritual.
is gonna be love. No, he didn't say that, nothing about
But
religion. He said, like,
um,
here is
but
not religion, here is love.
the
And I was like,
the
okay.
religious groups are uh, where you get your message out most
Mhm.
efficiently.
Oh yeah, I never had a problem. And I've
Yeah.
been to all kind of churches, all kind of religions, never had a problem. Everybody likes the message. Yeah. So they
Um,
feeling in their hearts, there is something that resonates when I give my speech, that they can feel that it's not, this is bigger than me. It's not me. I'm just a messenger. But God was trying to transmit a message to them to love your neighbor, the golden rule. Do to others the same things that you want to do for yourself. Treat others the best way.
right.
And I think the golden rule is, if everybody would practice the golden rule, this world would be completely different, don't you think?
Absolutely. I would hope in world politics it would be better. Um,
Oh Lord. Yeah.
so what projects are you planning for the future?
Well, projects right now, I have 2 books that I have to finish. One is called Divine Miracles. So after my first experience, I start having miracles all the time. I didn't want to believe this, okay? I was super skeptical. So after my experience with Jesus the first time, it's like, no, this was maybe my imagination, maybe my mind creating all this. But then I pray, I say, okay, God, if this is real, I want you to show me that this is real. So a series of miracles start happening in front of me and in front of people in front of me. So people was watching, and nothing is scary. Everything was beautiful, but there is so many miracles that I have to write the books and tell the stories. So the first one's called the first book, the next book is number 2 is called Divine Miracles, and the next one after that is my experience just with Jesus, and it's called I Found Jesus in Vegas, because I found him in Vegas. It's a real story. It happened in 2017, walking on the street. So yeah.
Yeah, I had a question. I forgot what it was. So it's it's a wonderful thing now. So you just have a constant conversation with Jesus. I mean,
I've
that's
been
part of
having
your life.
constant conversations since I was a child.
Mhm.
When I was a child, I was bullied because I was a little bit chubby, and I was carrying in my back pocket an image of Jesus and talking with the image all the time, like Jesus, like why people is bullying me so much? It's cool, like I just trying to be a nice guy, like why they're doing this to me, and I've been like that. But the things with Jesus, the stories that I'm putting on my book is like operations that he has. For example, like in 2020, um, I was coming from Asheville, North Carolina, coming down to Atlanta after a weekend that I spent with friends. And I received a message on my phone. And he said, a friend that I have a year without seeing him, he said, like, Carlos, please come to this place at 4 p.m. We need to pray. It's very important that you come. I was like, okay. And for me, it was weird because I said, like, this guy don't call me for a year, and out of the blue, he just sent me a message and sent like to go to this place. So I said, okay, cool. It was at 4. It was like 11 p.m. when I received the message coming down to Atlanta. So I arrived to my house around 12. It was like 4 hours coming from Asheville to Atlanta. And then I eat something, I took a nap, wake up at 3, I drove an hour to this place. And when I arrived to this place, there was no cars there. It was huge, 130 acres of land. It was like a farm. And I arrived there and I'm in the parking lot. The parking lot was empty and it was a Sunday. And I was like, what is this? I said, this guy, you have to be kidding me. I just traveled 1 hour to get here and there's nobody here. But I see a little house next to the farm. So I said, let me walk to the house. Maybe somebody is there. So I walked to the house and I knock at the door. Excuse me, is anybody here? And a 70 years old, his name is Mike. This sir come out and said, yes, how can I help you? So I, sir, I have a friend that he sent me a message that's supposed to come here at 4 because we're gonna pray for something. And he looked at it and said, like, do you see any cars here? Do you see anybody here? No, right? So no, we don't have anything happening right now. And I was like, sir, but this is your address? I said, yeah, that's my address. I said, well, I guess it's a misunderstood. I'm sorry. I just go back home. So I turn around, I start walking to my car. And then when I reach into my car, he's like, excuse me, could you come back here again? I need to tell you something. I was like, what? So I just walked back to this guy and said, yes, sir, what's going on? And he said, maybe you're not wrong. Maybe you're in the right place. I said, like, what are you talking about? This is your house, right? I said, yes. Why do you say that? And he said, you know where you're standing at? I said, like, yeah, in your house. I said, like, no, this is not my house. Do you know what is this place? I said, like, no, what is this place? I said, you are not lying to me. I said, like, sir, I drove 1 hour to come to this mountain. I don't know what is this mountain. I don't know what it is. I said, well, from 1990 to 1998, Jesus Christ showed up here in Atlanta, Georgia, in conjures. And there are documentaries that you can look on YouTube. CNN, ABC, and all the channels were transmitting for all these years from here. And this is the farm where Jesus was giving messages to humanity. And guess what the messages are? Everything that is going on right now. And that was in the 90s, okay? And then I he started telling me the whole story about how Jesus showed up there. And it was through a lady that she received the messages and she used to tell the messages to the world. And then the guy get me inside of the house, like, come on, get inside of the house and let me tell you a story. So after he told me a story, we go out of the house, we open the door, and in front of the house there is a huge rainbow in front of the house. I was like, wow, this is crazy. It's like, yep, there is a lot of miracles that happen here. And uh, months later, because I started going to this place, I met people that have been traveling all over the world looking for faith. And I found one producer from Netflix that he traveled from New York. And I started talking to him, and he said, like, look, I'm gonna tell you something. When I was 8 years old, my grandfather was dying with cancer. And my mother and my grandma, we came here. And that day, we heard the lady that she was giving messages to from Jesus. Uh, and that day, my grandfather was healed, and he lived 20 more years after that. So this, nobody told me this. I knew it because I was here and I saw his healing. So this place is amazing. And you go there and they have a wall full of pictures of miracles of Jesus, like in the sky, and a lot of natural phenomenon happen in that house. It's really cool. And my third time that I went there, they have a church that is like Orthodox, like it's like an antique church. And guess where the church? This was built in 1990. Okay, and where did the guess what? It's crazy. The church was an Ukrainian church. I never heard about Ukrainian church. Well, this is a Ukrainian church in the same land that is telling us, like, look, that this is going to happen in the future. So they built the Ukrainian church right there. And I have some miracles happen in that church. And in my new books, I'm gonna tell the story, what happened in that church and how Jesus communicated with me through that in that church. It was really beautiful. So I continue going, and I still telling people go there, and you will see. And just 10 miles away from that church, there is the monastery of the Holy Spirit. So there is a lot of monks that they're praying all day. They have a huge cathedral, and it's beautiful too. So yeah.
Are there other books or movies that influence you that
Well, when this
that
happened to me, I started looking because I was thirsty for information. Like, I need to know when this happened. So the first movie that I saw was like the little kid, Heaven is for Real, that he died on a what was it, in a hospital, and
right?
he had near out of body experience. So he saw his parents in one room crying, and then he went to heaven and he saw his grandfather in heaven, and his grandfather told him to go back and everything's gonna be fine. So that was my first movie. The second movie that I saw was Miracles from Heaven. That the little girl that she fell from the tree, inside of the tree, and she was dying, and then finally, after 24 hours, the fire department could rescue her, take it out of the inside of the tree because it was whole, and she was completely healed after she was terminal. You know, that was another near death experience. The other movie that I saw that influenced me, like, wow, so this is not happening to me, and it was crazy because this happened a year after my accident. It's called oh, the kid that is I think is in Michigan, and he's walking on a lake that is completely ice, and he fell into the ice, and he have a near death too. Um, I forgot the name of the movie, but there was a lot of movies about near death experience that I watched, real cases. There is one that impressed me a lot was 90 Minutes in Heaven. The guy that he was struck by a truck and he died instantly, and he went to heaven, and then he came back to tell the story to everybody. So I mean, there is a lot of people that I watch a lot of programs. Then people start inviting me to their programs, and I start watching more and more. There is a lot of YouTubers that they're doing near death experience, so I learn more and more and more about this. So yeah. It's been a lot of information, you know.
Yes.
I'm not afraid to die. So yes, and I guess everybody have the same after that experience, you know. So yeah.
Um, has this had a profound effect on your friends and family? I mean, um,
Look, at the beginning, I was scared to tell to my family, but one day, I was in Houston, all my family was there, and I told them, "Hey guys, I have to tell you something. Uh, I'm gonna tell you my story. This is my story. This happened to me, and I want you guys to follow me from here to the end of the world with my story." And my family knows me, you know. I'm a very humble person. I'm just work, and I don't want to be making this up, you know. I'm just trying to help people. And yeah, my family has been with me all the times. They love me. I've been blessed with an amazing family. I'm really thanks God every day for my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters, my uncles, my nieces, my yeah, everybody in my family, my grandmother, everybody's been amazing in my family, and we keep together, everybody. And yeah, they are always checking on me. Hey, like today they may be watching this because I told them, you know, they follow me on social media on my Instagram or Facebook, you know. So yeah, they're always checking on me. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm good with my family. Thanks God.
so it's a great, fantastic story. We're happy that you were able to tell us.
Thank you.
And as I said
It's been
before,
over an hour, so wow, time
well,
flew.
yeah, time flew. Um, so we're happy that you have projects for the future, that things
Thank you.
that you have a message to continue to give to us.
Oh yes, definitely.
So that's a great thing.
And
Um,
I want people to know, like, you know, like it's not me, it's you too. Just check the Bible, it's right there. Ask and you will receive, knock and will be open, look and you will find. It's right there in front of us. But we want to complicate the stuff, it's right there. Just do it, you know. We're not alone.
it's very simple. Just do it.
Just do
Um,
it.
so very nice. Anything else you would like to add? Well, I don't know if anybody else has any questions. Um,
You see map.
been checking the
I think
chat.
she
I don't
was
see anything in the chat.
no, no, it's okay. But anyways, was a good conversation with you. I mean, just telling my
Yes.
story so people can know what happened to me. And I'm sure that this, I mean, near death, you're gonna hear more like people drowning like me, you know. So
Yeah, there's a lot of the near-death experiences are from drowning and uh, other severe accidents and things.
yeah.
But the dolphins are truly amazing. You know,
Well, check the dolphin. Like I said, I mean, I was really surprised. Like I got goosebumps when I checked that. Like if you trade the dolphin back in history, in Rome, in Italy, they are outside of the catacombs. So they used to put the dolphins in the Roman cemeteries because they used to say they used to be angels that take their souls to heaven. So they are all over with Jesus. I mean, look at it; they're thousands of years old. And I heard one day that I was giving my speech, a lady told me that the little fish that people put on their car in the back used to be a dolphin, but I don't know how many 100 years ago they changed that fish and they put the fish instead of the dolphin. But yeah, but the dolphin represents Jesus. Just Google it and you will see. There is a lot of about Jesus and the dolphin. So
okay.
yeah,
Okay, Mr. Carlos Vivas.
yes,
Want to
Mr.
thank
Mark,
you.
thank you so much
Thank you for
for
the
the invitation.
conversation. We learned a lot. We have a lot to anticipate. I'm really going to look forward to reading your book, and I'll look
Thank you
forward
so much.
to your next book. Um,
Yes.
and everyone else listening, next week at 7 p.m. New York time, we will have an additional conversation. So thank you for joining.
Thank you, Mark. You have a good night. God bless you, everybody.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Thank you.